Hello and welcome back. In this video, you will learn how to conjugate verbs in Italian in the present tense. Let me make myself a little bit smaller here and let's move here. This is reverso.net. Okay, this is the ultimate resource, or at least my favorite resource when it comes to conjugation. I will ask you to go to reverso.net and to click on conjugation. Over there, type the verb mangiare, which is to eat, select Italian, and click on conjugate. Yeah, it's already on the conjugation. Then open reverso.net on another tab, go to conjugation again, type credere, which is to believe, Italian again, and there you go. And then open reverso.net in a third tab, and go to conjugation again and type dormire, which is to sleep, Italian of course, and that's it. Why did I ask you to do this sequence of actions? So in Italian, we have three families of verbs. Those that in the infinitive end up with are, those that in the infinitive end up with ere, and those that in the infinitive end up in ire. Let's check them here. So we picked, or I picked, mangiare, which ends up with are, first family of verbs. Credere ends up with ere, second family. And the third family, and ire and dormire is one of the representatives, dormire, in fact, ends up with ire. Okay, so we picked one verb per family of verbs. Okay, why did I ask you to do this? Why did I decide to come up with this list of families? Because every single family of verbs has a slightly different conjugation, but still they're similar. So let's take a look at mangiare. And like we said, today we're going to learn the present tense. So if you scroll the conjugation of any verb in reverse, so you will see a crapload of conjugation sentences. Forget about them for now. You will not learn all of them because it's stupid to do. Don't do it. Just follow my method. But for now, we're going to stick to the indicativo presente. Indicativo is the bigger umbrella family that includes multiple tenses, the present, imperfecto, and many others. And let's take a look at the present tense. So mangiare, for the subject I, becomes io mangio. Tu mangi, lui, lei mangia, noi mangiamo, voi mangiate, e loro mangiano. Okay? If we take a look at credere, io credo, tu credi, lui o lei crede, noi crediamo, voi credete, loro credono. And when it comes to dormire, dormo, dormi, dorme, well, better yet, io dormo, tu dormi, lui o lei dorme, noi dormiamo, voi dormite, loro dormono. They look similar, but there are some differences here and there. Now, let's do a step back, quick refresh, quick information that you should have acquired in the English grammar session, in the English grammar video. These little guys, io, tu, lei, lui, noi, voi, loro, these guys are the pronouns. They are the equivalent of I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay, the same thing. Follow the order of 6 pronouns from the very first to the last one. Now, before I tell you the differences between the family of mangiare, are, ere, and ire, let me tell you something. In English, you are forced to say every single time, to say and write every single time the pronoun. You're forced to say I eat, you're forced to say you eat, and so on. Why is that? Because all the different conjugated forms of the verb are basically the same. So there is room for chaos. If I say I eat pasta today, we know that we are talking about myself. But if I say we eat pasta today, we know that we are talking about ourselves. But what if I say eat pasta today? First off, there would be an imperative, a command. But let's say that we cut the subject. Who are we talking about? Am I talking about I, you eat, we eat? We don't know. That's why you guys in English throw always the subject, the pronoun I, you, he, she, and so on. In Italian, it's not mandatory. Actually, it's not really proper to say the subject every single time. Why is that? Because every single conjugated form is different from the others. So people will understand if you say mangio pasta oggi, people will understand that you're talking about yourself. You're saying I eat pasta today. If you're saying mangiano pasta oggi, you're saying they eat pasta today. Okay, so in Italian, we do not repeat the subject, the pronoun every single time. We don't say it. Okay, is it useful to learn the pronouns? Yes, of course. So at the very beginning, feel free to say the subject, say the pronoun, just so you practice all the pronouns, which are again io, tu, lei, lui, which means she and he, or lui, lei, he or she. Follow the order that you prefer. I tend to use first the masculine version and then the feminine, but that's just me. Noi, voi, loro. Okay? Side note, and we will see this again in the near future, next few videos, the pronoun it doesn't have a translation in Italian, in the sense that you guys use he to talk about masculine individual, human being, man, boys. She uses it for females. It, you use it for objects. In Italian, we don't have it because even objects have their own gender. For instance, appartamento, which is apartment, is masculine. So it is treated like it was he, like it was lui, right? Sort of. It's not really this specific case, but you get what I mean. And anyways, we will talk about genders and pronouns and all those kind of things in the next few videos. All right, and this is just a spoiler about the gender and so on in Italian words. But for now, let's go back to the conjugation. So like we said, first big takeaway from this session, from this video, there are three families of verbs in Italian: those that ends up with are, those that ends up with ere, and those that end up with ire. Second biggest takeaway, the pronouns, you're not supposed to say them every single time you speak and you say a sentence. Okay, you can just say mangio una pizza oggi instead of saying io mangio una pizza oggi, which means I eat a pizza today. Okay, it's not mandatory because each and every one of these are different from each other, not just like in English where it's always it. For instance, the other exception would be the letter S for he, she, it in English. Okay, now let's take a look at the different conjugation from are, ere, ire. So mangio, mangi, mangia, mangiamo, mangiate, mangiano. Credo, credi, crede, crediamo, credete, credono. So there is a slight difference. Both of them end up with O in the first one, although, and also in the second one, pardon me, credi and mangi, there is the letter I. But then the third one, lui, lei, he or she, in the first one, the first family with mangiare, it ends up with a in English. And here it ends up with e. Now a big hint is the family. Credere is E-R-E, or ere, E-R-E, E-R-E, and the first one was are, A-R-E, A-R-E, pardon me. So here we have, in fact, a, just like we have it in infinitive. And here we have e, just like we have it here, okay, in infinitive, ere. Crediamo and mangiamo remains the same. Mangiate, there is the a, just like in infinitive. And here we have credete with the e, okay? Now we have dormire, which is very similar. Basically, it's kind of the same of the second family, You see the A here. But for voi, it is dormite with I. Okay, just like in infinitive, in the last three letters of the family with ire. Okay. All right. So basically, what you have to keep in mind is the following: do the work and memorize this. There are no ways around. You have to memorize this. The conjugation, the three families of conjugated verbs must be learned. You had to learn the conjugation. You had to memorize them. Okay. I suggest you to grab a piece of paper. Let's do this. Do this as your one of the assignments for today. Okay. So grab a piece of paper, grab a pen or a pencil, and handwrite these three conjugations. Okay, mark with a green marker the commonalities, for instance the O in the first one, in the second one, and in the third one, and mark with color red the biggest differences. Okay, why am I saying biggest? Because I'm talking about the common ones, the common, not commonalities, let's say, because there are always exceptions. You will see that in Italian we have lots of exceptions, so a verb can be conjugated differently, and I will see an example in a second. But overall, if you follow this in your mind, if you try to throw a conjugated verb of an infinitive and you guess it following this lead, you will be fine. Okay, people will understand you even though you're dealing with a exception, right? So grab a piece of paper, create a table with the three conjugated families with mangiare, credere, and dormire. Mark in green one the commonalities, and in red those aspects that are very different. Okay, there are different. There are different between the three conjugation families, such as mangiate with a, credete with e, dormite with e. Just to give you an example. Okay, you need to use your observation soul, let's say. Okay, you had to be a student of the game. Of course, you are a student, but you have to be able to study the grammar as well to have a sort of critical spirit here. Okay, and you need to visualize it. So do it with your hands, because if you write stuff with your hand, it's going to stick better in your brain. Okay, now there is something that I want to elaborate a little bit more on. The conjugation ire can be split into conjugations. This is the main ones. That's why I came out with the verb dormire. But there are other verbs such as finire, which is to finish, that might end up with this way: finisco, finisci, finisce, finiamo, finite, finiscono. Okay, just to give you an example, there's this co, this she, the she terminations. Do you have to stress about this? Not too much. I'm just mentioning it because next time you bump into one of these verbs, you do not freak out. Okay, stick to the conjugation of dormire. That's the major one for the family of ire. Stick to that one. Just keep in mind that if you see something weird, that's probably the reason why. Okay. Now let me give you an example of an irregular verb, such as volere, which is to want. We will see it in a very specific video very soon, very soon. But as you can see, the conjugation of volere is very regular, because volere is not volo, is voglio, vuoi, vuole, vogliamo, volete, vogliono. Go see the video about volere, just to, well, not just to, but because you have to learn volere. But it was just an example to tell you that there are indeed irregular verbs, but do not let them freak you out. If you memorize the three families, are, ere, ire, and their own conjugations in the present tense, you're good to go. You can come up with something, and 9 times out of 10 you will be right. Okay, I guess that it's clear. If it's not clear, of course, you know how to reach out to me, ask your question. Also use the Facebook group, as already told you. I will see you in the very next video.